Why is there unnecessary cruelty in the animal kingdom, e.g. parasites eating insects and animals alive? Zach, you see, that is interesting, but you see, the thing about nature is it has a system which allows it to progress and survive. Nature has a, you're right, it has a brutality to it. But that brutality is so, it is the cogworks, it is the cogs in the wheel of life. You see, evolution requires a kind of struggle to survive. That's how life, the formidable nature of life, exerts itself in competition, rivalry, and adversity against others. It is, and in many ways there is, to quote here, that there is, grandeur in this view of life. That's to quote Charles Darwin. That there is grandeur in this way of life. But it really is that, like, when you see the struggle, that these things are part of that system. I don't believe these things to be on that higher level of consciousness in that sense. But you're right, it is brutal and very scary to sometimes become aware of, cognizant of that. Wow. But it's also amazing in many ways. I know I say that in a, you're probably thinking, this guy is seriously disturbed. And you won't be wrong. I need to resume my psychotherapy sessions. Well, counsellor, what are my thoughts? The counsellor himself, the psychotherapist, will need therapy after they realize what's going on in my head. But the question is that, by observing animals, it is so amazing how much we can learn. In fact, there's a professor who has some amazing books, and other people as well. Dewal, what's his? Is it France? Or is it France Dewal? Right. So now he has a few books. One, Philosophers and Primates, and he has another one, The Baboon and the Atheist. Now, it's really interesting, and he has some other works as well, and he has certain lectures on YouTube, and other people as well. They've observed primates, like some of these primatologists. What they've done is spent an incredible amount of time observing primates, and what's come to light is how primates also go by some form, a lower level of kind of ethics. And it's really interesting, a kind of low level, a kind of primordial morality that animals have. Yes, France Dewal with W-A-A-L. Now, you see, so they've realized that monkeys, for example, the great apes, they have these 4 key tendencies. Like, they have empathy, so that they have the ability to recognize structures, hierarchy. So primates and other animals as well have a hierarchical system by which they live. There is the alpha, and there's certain structures, and they have to actually win votes to get to the higher structures. But so they have the ability to not only perceive and learn these hierarchies, but to adapt to them, to the social realities. That they have an ability, what the great apes have is reciprocity, to kind of, you see, they do things. So for example, apes share food with certain apes where they will get something in return. And they will do things like like if a particular ape wants to, from, you know, a particular monkey from the great apes wants to become alpha, he will do things like pet certain, you know, baby monkeys, and kind of like groom the other apes, and pat them and spend time with them. It's really weird. It's like these politicians when they go around and they like pick up a baby and they're like, yeah, Obama's over here or wherever they are. And as an example, in the media, and these different presidents and prime ministers and parliamentarians, to get their positions, apes do actually the same kind of thing in their environment to get to the top of the tribe, and they get kind of voted. Like the rest of them just agree. It's not might is right. You would think that with things like gorillas or monkeys, or that might is right, and it's not. It's actually not often the strongest monkey in the clan, in the tribe, to be the alpha. So it's really interesting. And then the fourth thing that they have is peacemaking. So you will see many monkeys, they will try to sometimes break off a fight between two monkeys. So they will go and remove the pelts and the stones from the hands of one of them. Or if when a monkey has lost a fight, they will console him. Because why do they console? Because there is this understanding that the group mustn't have too much kind of discord, because that is harmful for the group. And it's really interesting learning this in primates, because it shows, and things like, so for example, when monkeys have been put under certain tests, that if they were given certain food, it would mean that the other monkey would get an electric shock. So if this monkey was given food, if he chose to take the food, let's say he presses the button, he gets the food, the other monkey gets an electric shock. Many monkeys would starve themselves for days just so the other monkey doesn't get an electric shock. And that is empathy. And it's really interesting. And just as they will get angry if they feel, so let's say there are two monkeys who in this experiment, and one is being given grapes and they like grapes, and this monkey is being given cucumbers, but he can see that monkey is getting a grape, but he only gets a cucumber. He will throw a tantrum because he will feel that that's not fair. That why does he get a grape and I get a... You see, and that is a low level of morality, of feeling that there must be some fairness. You understand? You can only react like that if you could contemplate the concept of fairness to some low degree. So what's interesting with all of this kind of primatological study is that it shows that in the animal kingdom there is this low level of morality that may have served as the building blocks for insan and his morality. Although our morality is much more complex, but it shows that there may be an innate kind of structure, the same way, a kind of universal base morality, the same way we have a universal base grammar to learn language. And I find that incredibly fascinating. I've just downloaded some of those books, and there's other material I'm going through that. I love Audible, by the way. I'm more a very listening kind of person. I love listening to things. Or some might just say lazy. Right.